Coverage of the Six Nations Rugby Championship, only on BBC America.
Scrum, Florian Fritz comes back into the centre, Freddy Michalak back at 10, Maxime Médard back on the left wing. Just the quest for that elusive form on both sides. The giant Sébastien Maïna of Nouméa, New Caledonia in the Pacific, is on the French bench. You'll certainly see him when he comes on. Now, Steve Walsh, once of New Zealand, now of Australia, today's referee. It is a foul, miserable day in Dublin. Two sides light on confidence. All the makings for a belter, really. Brian O'Driscoll, the legendary Brian O'Driscoll. 13 years ago, he played against France and was a sensation, scoring 3 tries. The clock turns, the years pass, and here he is. This could be the last time Ireland will enjoy him. Freddy Michalak, picked for a dry weather game. It's soaking wet. Michalak starts. Sean O'Brien leaves it for Keith Earls. Keith Earls tackled by Vincent Clair. Clair, frequent try scorer, especially against Ireland. Louis Picamol drops the ball under pressure from Rory Best. Two creatures have staggered out of Dublin Bay to join me in the commentary box. Brian Moore, Philip Matthews. Hello, Philip.
Oh, this is like the England match all over again. Ireland are going to need to show that they've learned from their experience. They're going to have to show the composure and the patience that they didn't show against England. Same goes for France. Both sides under a lot of pressure here, so psychological resilience is really going to be a big part of today's result.
Ireland shorten the line out, and they win it through Donnacha Ryan. Conor Murray. Now, Paddy Jackson sends one high. Johan Huget, the French fullback, collects safely. Michalak, he sends it high towards Earls. Gone loose. Here's Thomas Domingo. Paddy Jackson tries to tackle him. Long to Fritz. Was that the right option? We're about to find out. Was it Brian?
No, it wasn't. They had an advantage of 5-3 then, although that was a planned move. If you're going to do that and waste a 5-3, you've got to make sure that you execute it properly. As the ball comes left here, there are a lot of men there. There we are, 5-3, and the winger is back there as well.
Rory Best had a few problems at the line out against Scotland. Well taken by Sean O'Brien. Ireland gradually start to edge forward. Rory Best with the ball. Murray waits, sends it high. One for Fergus McFadden to chase. Well collected by Johan Huget.
Oh, pretty hot start. Ireland showing that they want to play a little bit of rugby when they can, but they're mixing it up well. But both sides putting boot to the ball. This, in a strange way, may make it easy for the unpredictable Freddy Michalak, because he's going to have to kick. He's going to have to be a lot more conservative in his playmaking.
Benjamin Kaiser quickly takes it and receives it back. Doesn't quite come off. Ball goes out of play.
It might also simplify the game for Ireland, though, and you run straight at his channel and see whether he feels like tackling today.
Well, Ireland getting Cian Healy and Mike McCarthy back, we'll be glad to see that, because there's two players that have very high tackle counts this year so far.
Ireland take their time coming to the line-out. All important to get the basics right early on. Again, Donica Ryan, and again, oh, it's a change of kick this time by Murray. It's towards France, who make a complete mess of it. Puget goes back, and slight air of panic in the French ranks.
Well, it was a day for the old foot rush, wasn't it? That's an Irish tactic we haven't seen really since the 70s. But it worked there. Sometimes possession is a liability. As a nice little bouncing kick. What a wicked bounce. The foot rush there looked like it might have been the wrong option, but it kept in field, and Ireland got a really good attacking position now. Rory Best seems to have fixed his problems against Scotland in the lineup.
What a change for Rory Best, throwing carefully into defensive lineouts. Now Ireland fully on the attack. It's Sean O'Brien again at the front. On comes the drive. It's well defended by the French heavyweights. In comes Domingo. And France have done to Ireland what Ireland like to do, the little choke and hold, make it a maul and keep the drive on.
A technical point there. When the ball came back, it got buried slightly to start with, and when the Irish drive came on and the next supporting man came from the front, he needed to go this side and beyond the ball, not take the ball himself, because then it didn't add any impetus. It simply got stalled, and then the French were allowed to come in 8.
Scrum down. France to put in through Morgan Parra. Still in their 22, but they'll have been comforted by that last drive. Ely against Nicolas Mas of Perpignan.
Well, I just copped a little look at Morgan Parra's eyes there. He's looking to see where Fergus McFadden is. He's going to want to take the pressure off Freddie Michalak here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just sticks this up. That's where he's looking to. You can just see the orange booted Fergus McFadden. He's lying quite flat, but Rob Kearney has that deep space covered.
I suppose one disadvantage is that Parra will have to do it right-footed, and he's a bit of a lefty.
Crouch. Touch. Sit.
On such a day as this, we might have to put up with resets.
I don't think today has anything to do with resets, Eddie. I think you have them all the time, as the previous game we saw in Murrayfield. The scrums are a mess at this level. I'm not saying that the players are a mess, because they still do an attritional job. They're incredibly powerful and incredibly strong athletes. Unfortunately, the way it's officiated, we've now had, what, 2 minutes watching nothing?
Sit down. Discipline again. Discipline.
Down comes the rain.
Crouch. Wrist. Touch. Number 1 green leading.
The forwards didn't get down, and it's been a theme throughout the Six Nations. The set piece ends up with a kick to touch.
The law actually says that the scrum is supposed to be a quick, safe way of restarting the game.
Rory Best wiping the ball. Here we have Ireland. A lot to the middle. Sean O'Brien has been busy already at the front in this game.
Yeah, and that variation has certainly helped Rory Best.
It is the middle. Peter O'Mahony. That's a better drive for Ireland. Not so deliberate. Just the throw at the middle gives Ireland just the space to build up this massive drive by the Irish forwards. That's more like it. That's a vim in the drive of the Irish. forwards, sets them off again. Paddy Jackson. This is Fergus McFadden off the right wing. This is Keith Earls on the left. Does well, gets the ground away from the touchline. Mike McCarthy, his second row colleague Donica Ryan joins him. Jackson. Rob Carney spins out of the tackle of big Johan Maestri. One for Earls to chase. Parra is back.
Great ball, great call. That's one of those times when the ball to Grind was exactly the right call to make and puts Ireland in a very, very strong position. They need to be patient from here.
Well, this is what they need to repeat. Taken down, driven only when it's set up properly. Important thing, difference between that drive and the early one, the ball is right at the back there. The French can't get there. They need to just do the same here, and Ireland will be over the line, and that will be a reward for a tremendous piece of forward play earlier on.
Here's Brian O'Driscoll, will patiently look on. I don't think he'll be expecting the ball from this line out. Up goes Donica Ryan. It's Jamie Heaslip who has the ball. Surely Ireland must be over. Try given by Steve Walsh. They found a weakness in the French line-out and they've drilled through it.
As a forward, I am purring at that sort of... Because people think that that doesn't take skill and technicality. It's a very precise skill. That's two tremendous pieces of play by the Irish forwards.
Well, one to secure, but look at the pace of this maul. But to keep control, they just turned it just a fraction to get away from the French pack, but they were able to keep their feet under.
You're right, but the key is this. Look, it's set first there, wait, and then put the pace on it.
Yeah, that's something they've come to this game with that game plan in mind for these conditions. And they showed absolute composure there when they saw the opportunity. That was clinical. That was the Ireland we saw in the first half against Wales that we haven't seen since.
And also it's a little bit akin to a scrum drive because it's physical dominance, and you know, you look up and you see the opposite number and he's been shunted backwards, and you just look and say, like they'd be like this all day, mate.
Yep, there may be more of that to come. Meanwhile, Paddy Jackson. That's more like it. Didn't look too sure at Murrayfield. Looks thoroughly at home here at the Aviva Stadium. Ireland 7 points to 0.
Well, it was good to see Jamie Heaslip in the middle of that, because that, as a captain who's been under an awful lot of pressure, to be the focal point of that score was a wonderful thing for him. That will do his standing and his personal confidence the world of good. Right smile from Paul O'Connell there in the stands.
Sean O'Brien takes and sets off. Conor Murray again. Keith Earls sets off. Louis Picamol is back for France. Rory Best with a tackle. Good offload. Picamol to fullback Johan Uge. This is prop Nicolas Mas. Mike McCarthy does his best to hold him up, but it's scraped back. Maestri. Yannick Nyonga from the French back row. That's not bad in terms of speed of delivery. Michalak towards McFadden and Jackson, and this is Carney.
That's always a good play on a day like that, and Rob Carney's left foot is invaluable on a day like this.
That's a very good kick by France's fullback Johan Uge.
Actually, aided amongst the terrible dilemmas and awful play that France have had up to this point, Uge has been one of the exceptions. Actually, he's played quite well. Well, we'll see what France have got now. We'll see what they've got bottle-wise.
Well, the temptation for France is to try and match Ireland's score with a try, but will they keep their patience and maintain their composure?
Rory Best finds Mike McCarthy, not straight, so France, for the first time in the game, having a real attacking opportunity.
Well, see Michelak twice. Kick for the left wing, and it's not worked either time. It's the wrong option both times. Let's see what we do here, because France have got a lot of room.
Greg.
Medal standing right behind the line, so he'll be available in and out off Michelak, and when they go round the corner as an option to go outside the outside, inside centre rather.
Steve Walsh, the referee, doing his best to and in the end he awards a penalty. Tried to talk them into staying straight.
Well, that was given by the touch judge.
On the 15, thank you.
Because it was on the other side from Steve Walsh. And he's talking to Mike Ross.
Yeah, no, we knew we were here.
For Michelak.
Sure, mate. Signal, I think.
Captain Thierry Dusatois indicate they're going for goal.
You and I were talking, Brian, before kick-off around this pitch. So you can see it is cut up there. Tell me, what is that going to disadvantage either front row today?
Well, look, if the laws are applied properly, well, that's not the ideal anchor point, is it, for anyone's feet? And it's not helpful for the kickers either. Let's just watch Michelak do this first, I think.
Very short run-up of Michelak. A little stab. And it never looked very rhythmic at all.
I don't know why Morgan Parr isn't taking those. I really don't. It's beyond me.
The other reason as well, Phil, for that is that we all know Michelak is a temperamental player. When he's up, he's brilliant, and things like that don't help his confidence, which won't help his all-round play.
Here is the other kicker, Parra, and here's the big runner, Louis Picamol. Florian Fritz. This is Wesley Fofana, scorer of a glorious try at Twickenham. Maestri standing still. It's a bit of a mess, but Sean O'Brien picks up the scraps. Now Ireland have a chance to break out. Earls, Carney, there's that left boot. Barra patiently, and then with that weaker right boot. Well, he did well in the end, but he took the risk.
Well, Parra's decision to go wide and then to put that kick up didn't quite work out for him in the end, but Ireland have gained valuable ground.
You know, he very nearly slipped there as well, and wouldn't have been able to get the kick away. Carney would have been on him, and there would have been a penalty there. So, as you say, any kick that makes anyone turn in this weather is useful.
Peter O'Mahony wins cleanly. Brian O'Driscoll, little half break. Dusatois goes over the ball, but the Irish forwards bowl him out the way. Carney, Steve Walsh getting in the way.
Good tackle by Walsh, actually.
Conor Murray, hard and low into the French 22.
Well, I think that was an excellent passage of play from Ireland there. There was composure in the passes. They're letting the ball come into their hands rather than snatching at it. And that's really what they need to do in these conditions. And then making the right decision to kick when nothing else was on.
But what they know is the first three phases off a set play are planned meticulously. They know where they want to put them, and they're hitting at pace and getting the ball back quickly, and that gives them the options beyond the first three planned ones to see what and play what's in front of them.
Nyanga won it, but this time it's France, not straight at the line-out.
Going back to your original question on the scrum, Phil, no, it's not ideal there, but the problem is when the referees allow the packs to push on engagement, it becomes just a battle to see who can get the hit and get the drive on first. All the feet are moving, and that's why there's instability. If they made them be absolutely stable before they were allowed to put the ball in, then they've got to restart a drive, and it's much more difficult to become unstable.
Come on, big one here. Touch. Set.
There you can see all the feet are driving, all pumping.
So you sense the tinkering's not done yet. There may be a couple more amendments to come when it comes to scrums.
I have no idea what the referee, the IRB will do.
I spoke about you, okay? So just think about that, okay? Yeah. Head and shoulders and arm, I'd imagine. Yeah. Okay? I was on the other side, just think. Yeah.
I just watch him dive into that gap as well.
Into where, mate?
Okay. High fast. Concentrate. Go, big stop.
Blue. Square.
No.
Steam rises off the scrummage. A mist between referee and scrum half Conor Murray. Free kick. France.
That is one of the problems. France earlier on, Ireland now getting in a good position. There's no certainty at all that they'll even be allowed to have the advantage of having the possession in the opposition territory, because no one knows which way they are always going to go. And that's the last comment I'm going to make about scrums, but just to say, a lottery.
Free kick, so Ireland have the throw-in. It's almost stopped raining.
Up here it has. I'm not sure it's on the same on the field.
Take by Donnacha Ryan. McFadden does well. Jamie Heaslip does well to gather. Ireland on the front foot again. Murray. McFadden plays scrum half. Sean O'Brien earns Ireland the penalty. France coming over the top of the number 7.
Ireland's line-out to this point has been absolutely spot on, exemplary, and to the extent to which the French aren't even getting off the floor.
Yes, please.
What Ireland are doing is they're making the options are so good that the feet are not moving to the very last second. France can't get their jumpers in the air, and Ireland are dominating, and they're making use of the ball.
And they're varying it as well. They're cutting their line, and when you take supporters out, it makes it very difficult for second rows to readjust and then become lifters. So they've outthought France. They've learned from Scotland, and they've made it an awful lot easier for Rory Best.
Well, especially the ball, when it's going what would have been the middle and the 4.5 ball, which has been taken, because that means that Picamol and Dussatois start to go in because they don't know if they're going to have to lift, and when the ball comes down, they're not able to get out into the guard positions as quickly.
Score remains 7-0. Paddy Jackson misses from long range.
He's just pulled that one. I'd nearly prefer him to see a slight pull than that drift, that push that he has. It's a lot squarer, and he's getting a distance when he slightly pulls it. Hopefully he can correct that.
Michalak. Rovkani. Here is Jackson. And this is Michalak again. Does well to get it to Picamol. Donnacha Ryan with the charge down. Here's Domingo. Fofana. Aggressive Irish tackling. Just for a moment, Conor Murray thought there might be a turnover. Instead, it's Benjamin Kaiser, the hooker, coming away. Vincent Clair. Keithos shepherds it away. It will be a French throw-in.
That was executed properly. However, when you've got 4 men inside you, if you make that kick, the Irish defence, which is still 10 yards back, doesn't have any decision to make. They just all drift onto the winger. Unless that's a scoring kick, it's virtually useless. As
Well, Irish hearts did gain a little bit of optimism when they did see Freddie Michalek get out half it. And that's always a good sign that you've made the right selection, or not whether you put the fear of God into the opposition. And for Ireland, that selection didn't.
Nyonga seems to be the principal aim at the line out. Here he is, the hooker, who threw in. It was a little sloppy there by France. Knock on by Dusautoir.
That was good pressure from Ireland, good counter-mauling. They just stopped that French momentum and disrupted it enough. And again, just a lack of composure in these conditions on behalf of France. It's a big part of the difference between the two sides at the moment.
Captain. You boys are well aware that that Six Nations a year, 2 free kicks, we now escalate to penalty kicks for early. Need some patience, okay? Can you make sure that you tell your boys? It's number 1 leading both times. Yep.
Well, number 1 shouldn't be leading anyway, technically, because the loose head shouldn't be first to hit, the tight head should be, because it skews you around left if the loose head hits first. So Cian Healy's got to delay a little bit. Steve Walsh's timing of the calls has been fine. We heard Joubert's this morning took about half an hour between each one. We could have gone shopping by the time Joubert finished his calls.
Thank you.
Rhythm of Steve Walsh. Irish scrum under huge pressure though. Yeah, penalty. France. They got the drive on early.
Well, Cian Healy is saying, not me, but I would say hinged there. Just went straight down. France are going forward. The other point about this is, why are they all asking the touch judge anyway? You know, it's not football. Referee's made a decision. France going forward.
That was Conor Murray took his time getting that ball in. I'm just wondering whether he was doing his front row any favours there. Well, he should be getting in a little bit quicker.
Well, also, what Conor Murray's not doing is he's not feeding it as far as he'll be allowed to. That was relatively straight, actually. He has to wise up and just shove it to the number 8 because he won't be caught.
Here he goes. Stabby run, stabby kick. Successful result. Ireland 7, France 3.
Well, the scoreline is just about right. I mean, Ireland definitely deserved to be in the lead. If they did 10-3 would, in my opinion, be a better reflection of the difference between the teams thus far.
Paddy Jackson rather flops one into the French 22. Parra puts it back down towards halfway, 10-metre line.
Tell you what we've not taken into account, Phil, discussing the fact that you've got Murray and Jackson, Marshall, and a lot of players who are not that experienced, and it's not shown so far. They've done very well.
They have. I think they've been playing to a fairly simple game plan, but what's impressed me is the execution under these conditions. They've been very, very accurate.
Again, Donica Ryan. France tried to stop the drive at source. Ireland have sort of steered away from That initial surge by the French and have earned themselves a penalty.
I'm a little bit surprised that France are trying to put a bit more pressure on Rory Best. They're not getting jumpers into the air at all, even in a full line-out, and that does surprise me.
Well, look, if they can't follow exactly because they're not being given time, I think they've just got to jack someone up at one position or another, and usually it's the front, just so the hooker has got something in the way. You know, as a hooker, you've got a completely free field, then fine, great, you've got your own timing. If someone jacks up in front of you, you've at least got to take that into account. Absolutely,
a bit like Russian roulette. Get somebody in the air, you might call it right, and that sets the opposition hooker thinking a little bit. You just got to make him think.
This is, I would suggest,
48 metres
at the outer limit of Paddy Jackson's range.
The wind is against him as well.
And this was one of Declan Kidney's decisions to hand the kicking duties to Jackson, who is not the regular kicker for Ulster. That's long enough. And straight enough. There's an answer to the critics. Paddy Jackson.
Paddy Jackson and Jonathan Sexton showing his appreciation there. He's corrected that first pull. Looked like it might be going to drift a little bit right. But he got enough behind it. Now this is where he's starting to learn to become an international place kicker.
O'Brien. Up to the 22.
Boys.
Again, Keith Earls goes up his furrow, and again it's Louis Picamol underneath the ball.
Just the ball, just the ball.
It's a bit far. O'Brien waits, takes safely enough, puts a big hoof into it. Parr is back. Jamie Heaslip. Fergus McFadden, rather. The right wing. Rob Kearney has a little explore, and then that leaves the field wide open. Cian Healy. Brian O'Driscoll just drifts outside du Sautoir. Penalty advantage to Ireland.
Not supporting your body weight.
Oh, I thought that was unlucky. I saw it at one stage. That was a good turnover, but we might see it again. Sampson, well there. That's a cut back inside from McFadden. Now he's in quickly. Nice. Walsh said he's not supporting his body weight. That's a tight enough call, to be honest. Well, okay, so he's not supporting his body weight there. That's a decent call. Yeah, fair enough.
Tell you how you can try this at home. If you can stand on the very front of your feet and not fall over, then you're supporting your body weight. I would suggest you probably can't. Is this exactly the same position as the previous one? If it isn't, it's only within about a few inches. And if this were to go over, it'd be a very healthy lead indeed.
Well, this is obviously within Paddy Jackson's range.
Another thing Jackson's done well hitherto is this. When they go around the corner, at some point they've got to make the decision whether they switch back or whether they carry on going. And twice he's seen gaps and he's gone back, demanded the ball. He's read the play well.
Sweetly struck again. Oh, Paddy Jackson fires Ireland into a 13-3 lead.
Well, this kid is learning fast, isn't he? For somebody who's been under so much pressure, Declan Kidney will be delighted to see that decision vindicated, and his mentor, if you like, Jonathan Sexton, equally pleased. Not even a smile from Declan Kidney.
Sean O'Brien, this time he's made it outside the 22. Play Picamol. That's a good tackle on him by Conor Murray. Brian O'Driscoll came in to put the clamp on the French captain, Michelak. Claire Earls with a tackle. Grabbed Fitz, and the centre's done very well to get it away from the Irish second rows there. Fofana, we know how light he is on his feet. Ireland have stripped him, and Luke Marshall tries to get Ireland right down there. That's a beautiful kick by the Irish centre.
Well, it's the first thing he's really had to do. The whole thing, Conor Murray's box kicking has been excellent today. He has obviously been practicing that, and for the conditions it's perfect. The follow-up wasn't quite as good. Picamol's picked off just about every one of them, and here to 4, Ireland have managed to shut him down, but Murray's kicking's been tremendous.
Ireland have been helped by the fact that France do not know which way. They're not sticking to a plan of attack. They're not just going short around the corner, or 25 or 11 off the inside centre. They're varying it in ways which don't make sense.
Kaiser finds Nyonga.
Whoa. Just. Hey, be very careful.
Sorry,
okay? Yeah.
Trip.
Well, we didn't see that, but by Steve Walsh's reaction, we'd have to suspect that it was a trip there, that Donnacha Ryan might have stuck out a leg to trip him up, not pick him up.
Well, it's either a trip or it isn't.
Okay, trip.
Well, we didn't see it, we don't know what it was, but if it was a trip, it's a penalty.
There we go. Yeah.
And that's, I'm
don't...
sorry, you don't see it, referees. Sorry, Steve Walsh.
Thank you.
I don't know, you may think that you're getting on well with players, you may think you're managing the game. That is a penalty.
Well, it looks like from there, what we can't see is Donnacha Ryan's face, is whether his face was covered or whether he knew what he was doing.
Don't have a guess.
He knew. It was a penalty. I think the surprise was that it wasn't a yellow card. Sean O'Brien drops it now. France, a real chance to counter here. Inside pass was forward, but now Ireland have turned France over. A chance for Ireland through Paddy Jackson to come away with it.
Leave him!
Prop Cian Healy. He's light on his feet too. Mike McCarthy. Jusotar with a tackle.
Yeah, it's over.
Fergus McFadden.
Stay there, boys.
Jackson. Florian Fritz eventually secures the ball, brings it down. Paha. Picamol, he does hug a touchline.
It's good game management. Again, the kicking is good. When things are not on, they're putting it in the air. And the chase is good, isn't it? Absolutely. It's making those kicks good. Right decision and the right execution, and followed up because the rest of the team are reacting.
I tell you something, France have been even more trouble if it wasn't for the work of Jusotar. At the moment, he's all over the place, just plugging holes. Picamol's been doing the runs which have been catching the eye, but Jusotar has been finding a bit of a lone battle. And the very impressive thing about the Irish drive in the loose is that they are going well beyond the ball, so that's pushing the offside line back, and it's giving the scrum half much more time.
This time it's a shorter throw to Donnacha Ryan, but he still produces good ball, and it's a fine follow-up tackle. France are in possession, but they are being rocked. Ooh, well picked up, Michelak. Luke Marshall lends his weight to the ruck. Murray. Straight to Michalak. Uge. Oh, that's not a bad kick at all. Fergus McFadden heads back for the corner. France's best position.
Well, let's see if they manage or they try to put pressure on this Irish throw, because this is the best platform that they've had, albeit that France aren't throwing in. They're a minute and a half before the half-time whistle as well. Ireland will be desperate to get in a half-time with this lead intact. They just need to keep the cool here, put the drive on the ball so that the scrum half has enough time to box kick, make sure the chase is in, and the half is over, and they've had a very good 40 minutes. But it could all go wrong here.
Tricky throw for Rory Best. Johan Maestri is right down at the front of the line. Will they send? They've
already cut the line out. They've cut the line out so that if anything goes wrong, they can drop on the ball behind the line. So there's a margin for error there.
Rory Best comes charging out of the 22. Good tackle on him, but it is safely delivered for Jackson. Good feet. Well managed, Ireland. That's excellent clearance work.
How old is he? How old is the fly half who's just come in and has danced in his own goal area and has had the confidence to do that? But he's been very impressive, hasn't he?
Yeah, the composure under these conditions has been excellent from Ireland.
21. France have lost 20 metres. Back in possession, a chance to set up a drive of their own, although it's gone to ground. Maestri. Penalty advantage to France. Power waits. Kaiser. Advantage still being played. Nyonga. Driven back 2 full metres, but there is the advantage.
Number 4, playing the man line on the ground in an offside position.
Unnecessary. A bit of ill discipline. Coach won't like that.
It's something Ireland have struggled with, particularly as this tournament has progressed. The penalty count has been far too high.
I'm not entirely sure what he did then, to be honest. I'm not even sure that was a penalty.
Well, that was Donnacha Ryan we saw on the ground. I think it might have been after that as Mike McCarthy came in.
Well, he said number... Well...
Okay.
Last kick of the first half, presumably, unless Ireland do something. Michalak sends it wide, the half-time whistle goes, and in the driving rain at the Aviva Stadium at half-time, Ireland have a healthy lead. Ireland 13, France 3.
Much more like it for Ireland, putting pressure on the French line out, showing composure under these conditions as well. Eventually, the try came to Captain Healy, but Paddy